Welcome, 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 Akwaba to Pan a la Carte, Players Only. My name is Noel La Pierre, your host for this program. We are going into our 13th week, our 13th episode. All right, today's guest is going to be from Toronto, Canada, Mr. Panman Pat McNeilly, teacher, educator, mentor, arranger, composer, calypsonian. Oh, if I could remember the rest. So let's welcome Mr. Panman Pat.
Hello, Pat. Hello, Noel.
Hey, Pat, listen. I ain't seen you in the
Everything.
camera. Come in the camera. Yes, people. This is Panman Pat, a veteran extraordinaire. All right, it's a pleasure to have you on Players Only.
I'm
All
so
right,
happy to be
so
on Players Only.
tell me something, man.
I've been looking at you all the time on what you're doing, documenting pan players and people involved in the business, and I think you're doing a wonderful job, and I'm so happy to be on your program.
Thank you. Well, due to COVID, it gave me something to think about, and it's an opportunity to launch the program, because I always felt that enough credit don't give to players, especially at Panorama. I find that credit should be given to players on the night. They should run everybody name who's performing on stage, let everybody know that, who is there on stage, except the tuner and arranger. So I felt that this is an opportunity to launch this program. And watching basketball, people don't know how important professionalism is. That basketball is what inspired this program, Players Only, because it had a segment like that and featuring players, all right, that who doing good within the sport. So I took the opportunity to start it with a pan. I'm glad I'm reaching out to people with the information. But anyways, about you now, right? I had to start from Pat. Let everybody know who is Pat. How come Pat end up to be the person he is? So let me start from your boyhood days. Now, let me get right insight in your boyhood days, your school, your primary school, your background, running away to go in the panyard. Let me hear them stories now.
Well, I started even before that, before you had to run away and stuff. When I started, there was nothing like a double second then. A bass player only played one drum with three notes on it. The tenor pan was a basic tenor pan that we played mostly in B flat or A minor. Do you know the first set of pans, just before my time, the tenor pan player would hold the pan in one hand and play it up in the air?
Yes, I saw those clips. Yes.
Yeah, like I came in just after that. So like the bass pan player in a band, and when I started, the little fella would actually hoist it like you hold a duduk, but a full drum. The fella used to play bass in the band, big guy, used to call him Big Boy.
Right.
I started to play pan before pan stands were invented. Like the movement had only gotten to the point where pan was invented. And to make the pan stand up would be in a backyard somewhere, and you pump two broomstick in the ground, and you put two nails and you hang the pan. Problem was when you get to play out, then stands were invented. Out of wood, the little foot on the bottom and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so that was the early days when I started. So like it was a novelty then, like people would walking in the track or in the road and stop for a little 2 minutes to see what was going on. It was in the experimental age. I had good influences though as a young person, mysterious when I look back at it, Noel. Like some of the positions I found myself in, like I didn't go, like I just happened to be there and things were evolving. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So who was your influence then? Who was the person who really, you went after, who encouraged you, your influence?
I had the single answer for that is my mother, and I might keep referring to her throughout this interview. Because from a young age, when I would hear people playing the tapan or so, in those days they call it ping pong. It wasn't even a tenor pan there. It was ping pong. And you hear playing, so all I could do as a little fella is to get grapefruit tins. And I accumulated 12 grapefruit tins, and I could pound them and make little songs and play little tunes. So my mother encouraged me in that way, and she took me to Auntie program with these grapefruit tins. And I played a nice song and came first and stuff. But also alongside with that, the school I went to that was just a block away was a Canadian missionary school.
Okay.
You know it as whatever district Presbyterian school. But back then I went to CUREP CM school. And the CM stands for Canadian Missionary.
Okay.
So I was kind of groomed for something else, you know, later on, right? Like Canadians with a group of people. Most of the kids in the area where we grew up were poor kids, so nobody were allowed to wear shoes. So you didn't show up who couldn't wear shoes and who could wear shoes. Everybody had to go without shoes, you know? And it was in those early days, the missionaries would come to the school. It was an elementary school, CUREP CM, and they'd come to the school and play the piano and get us to sing the little choruses that they'd sing, you know, and teach us about Christ and so on. They were United Church missionaries who came from Canada, but they resided in our area near the school and near the church, which they built 20 years later after I left. So on Sundays, I used to sing in school, but they could tell, you could tell when a student is good or not. For some reason, on Sundays, they'd see me and say, jump in the car and take me to Port of Spain. I was a little country boy, so Port of Spain was an experience, you know, for me.
Right. Because back in those days, CUREP was country. CUREP was country.
Yeah, and even when you grew up, you could only go to town on Saturday, maybe half day, you know, like, and look around, window shop, you know? That was in high school. But so anyways, they'd drive me and take me to Radio Trinidad. And in the studio there, they would play, remember this, well, you wouldn't remember, but your father will remember. They used to play a song like piano, and we'd sing, the missionary's wife, and I would sing, she used to sing in a kind of operatic style. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures. Like that, you know? You know, that kind of voice, you know? I heard this as a little boy over and over, but they take me without shoes in any car, but nobody saw. When I coming out the studio every Sunday or so, I would see Auntie Kay and Cliff Lezama and Gemma Noel and Lord Relator, who was in Lord Relator then. And they'd be going to the next studio with guitar and thing. And I say, how you could get involved with that? So I told my mom about it. And she said, one day I'm going to carry you. And one Sunday she got me dressed and we took the bus and went to Port of Spain and the hot sun and 2 o'clock. Auntie Kay and them going and they come and Auntie Kay said, so what's your name? So I said, Big Daddy. Because I didn't have
a name. My gosh.
I didn't have a name, you know. So I said, Big Daddy. So I used to go and sing calypso, play my grapefruit things and so. So the reason is the Canadian people got me influenced into seeing where the music could go and get broadcast. And my mom used to encourage me. She encouraged me until she was 90. Just like your grandmother encouraged your dad.
Right. Yes, Granny was my influence, you know. Granny already. I don't mind she tell me you have common entrance. So no pan for you. Pan for your uncle and your cousin. Before I himself reach in the yard, look Noel La Pierre son. I knock off 3 tunes. So and Granny is the one who stick with me since till she passed, you know. So I can understand that.
Yeah, going off on a tangent about Granny, I used to call her moms, you know, because I am the same vintage with your dad.
Yes.
So Earl Senior. But in the early days in Toronto, I'm going on a tangent, we'll come back to where you are. In the early days in Toronto, in the early 70s, because I was here and there was nobody else, so I had an activity going. And then your dad came and he started his activity down on Harvard Street there. And the people, you know, people like controversy, so you think Earl and I were not friends, you know. But whenever I met Granny, she always respected me so much that, like, she made me feel wanted, you know, and I was always impressed with that. Even when I came to Trinidad, I used to go and visit her, you know.
Yes, yes, and you know, Pat, honestly, you're not the only one. Anybody who is friends to us who met Granny always had this kind of feeling towards her, and a relationship that's always developed.
Yeah,
Right?
once you went Pan, she loved you.
Yeah. Yeah, understand?
Except when you're common entrance, eh?
Yeah. That she said, you see this nonsense? I know this nonsense now. I gonna call your father. Well, in all that time he's in Toronto, right? So, and the rest is history.
Yeah, so how you going?
Yeah, man. So here now, so back to the interview and thing. All right. So who was the influence? Your mom may say, right? Your mom was the influence.
Nice.
Right? And what year you moved to Toronto?
Huh?
And what year you moved to Toronto?
Oh no, you skipping out the best part. That was when I was a little fella without shoes. The missionaries, right? So by the time we reached the standard 5 or what, they go all the bright kids and they walk us up to El Dorado and say, we're building a college here called Hillview College. But the building wasn't ready for us in September, so we had to go in the back of the church in Tunapuna, where used to be a cow pen. And the first 2 weeks, clean it out and borrow tables and desks and blackboard and walk it over. And they started a high school, Hillview College, in a cow pen. My first high school. Okay, so influence now. So going through the high school, I got to Hillview, and they found out I could play these orange things. And a teacher came to me one day and said, is that you I see playing all them things, all that music? I say, yeah. He said, is there anybody in school who could do that too? I said, yeah, there are a few boys. And he had me pick all those guys. I fingered them out. We started the first high school steel band in Hillview College. It's still going today.
Okay.
That's documented and stuff. Like 2 years ago, on the 60th anniversary of Hillview, they give me a lifetime award for starting that steel band and other things which I'd like to tell you about.
Wow. Well, you could talk about it as time goes on in the interview. You could talk about all those awards.
But we ain't finished with the influence, because I tell you the best is yet to come. You want to hear the big shot in that? So
listening.
Hillview, huh?
Go ahead.
I finished Hillview and I got a job after the summer vacation in September to teach in a little high school that just opened up in Carte named Seneca College. We wasn't no college. There was a little high school underneath the upstairs. So they used to have it in those days, you know?
Right.
So at the end of the first month, the teachers say they're going to town when they get paid that Friday to celebrate. I cannot tell you I'm a little country boy from Carte. I'm now around 19, but a little bright, you know? So they say meet in town. So we go into town. They say they're going to the penthouse. No, that was a hotel on the top of Salvatore, 7 stories high, but that was the tallest building we had, you know, and up there was a nightclub. And I couldn't travel in the night to go to town. So I had to travel all 5:30 in town for 8 o'clock, you know. And boys coming for 8 o'clock. So 5:30 I there on Henry Street, walking, window shopping. You can't do that now. Till 8 o'clock, and I'm hanging. Have a fella sitting down by the in a white shirt and a black tie. I think he was security. So anyways, I met the teachers. We go into the thing. I don't even know what to order. So I order a rum and coke. You know, that was the only name of a drink we knew. And I'm there, and at 11 o'clock, you hear grrr. A stage was rolling out from underneath the wall, and this guy, Choi Ming, this half Chinese guy, came out and said, it's showtime at the penthouse. And the band played, and Zebras, the Calypsonian, and the Limbo, and the body dances and all of that happened. And in the intermission, I see the band get up. So I don't want the teachers to know in that thing, you know, because music wasn't a great thing then. So I went on the side, like I go into the washroom, and I asked the piano player, how can you get involved in this? And he said, you play music? I say, yeah, I play the bass. I had a bass guitar home I made, and I could play electric bass guitar. You saw it in the movies, but we had none in Trinidad. So yeah, so I made my own bass guitar, and I could play. This fella who told me to come the next night and play bass because they need a bass player turned out to be Clyde Bradley. Yeah, that's where I get my first break from, right? He was a piano player doing that on weekends to help out Dollet and Troyman and so on. Turned out to be so that was a Friday night. So Saturday night now again, 5:30 in front day. So he tell me, come down tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm from the country. So I waited from 8:30, because show time is 9. I see Red Man come and thing. Young then. Clyde Bradley was a teacher in the Teachers College in Trinidad then. He was a bright guy, you know, a genius kind of brain, and he could play the guitar. He could play that song they called 24 Hours on the guitar, and every note was a chord. I was 19 going on, maybe 19. So he would have been maybe 23 or something. He used to play pam 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 pam. Every note was a chord. I was so impressed, you know. So yeah, when going upstairs in the penthouse, I followed him upstairs. Came in a room, they put on this maroon jacket, boy, it reached down by the further down than the palm of my hand. I could fold it up. Waiting the bass was a fat bass. I never played a fat bass before.
Oh, shucks.
But the strings tuned the same way with the bass I made. So I could play my bass with a fat bass too. Showtime, you know, you reach 8:30, showtime, 9 o'clock, grrr, stage come out. Boy, I pull bass and I pull bass. If you see sweat running down as a little fella, I pull bass like you're pulling slingshot. Pull bass.
Wow.
So I see Bradley look up, so you know, you're playing piano, they have a way to look up, so I tell you, right? How long you playing that instrument? I said, first time. But I have a bass home. You say, you have a bass? Bring it tomorrow night. And I played there for a year until I came to Canada the next night.
So before you go on, Choi Aming, right?
Yeah.
That was my first boss, you know, professional boss, you know, 6 nights out in Bermuda. You see, I work for you know.
That's right. He wanted me to go there, but my mom said, no, you go in Canada. So then when you were there was a fella named the piano player, Jake or something, not Jake?
Nah, he wasn't there no more.
Well, Wayne Perfect Uncle would have been there.
Yes. Fats left the year before I came. Fats left before I came. The year before I came, I think Fats went down to Australia.
When that start was in 65 or so, I was supposed to go with them from the penthouse, but
it had people there from since that time, you know. It had like the Aberdeen, not Junior Aberdeen. Well, he passed on. Now he from Tenapuna. Right? It had Crookshank.
All right.
Right, you know, so all of them used to be up in penthouse too, and them up there from since the 60s. You know, so yeah, it's there everything started. This guy learned the business through Troy. Troy's a smart man.
Yeah, oh yeah, and his sister was involved with show business too.
Kim.
Yeah.
Kim.
She produced Universe and Miss World.
Yeah, Penny passed on under she and some others. You know?
All those days.
So
I was trained under Bradley and
So you was in Casanovas, was the name of that band? What was the name of that band? Casanovas?
No, that was Bradley band, but that came after, you know.
Oh.
That came after. Yeah.
All right. So you play all them Backshot and all them kind of club and them?
Yeah. With band. Then I used to play weekends. I used to run away and play with Norman Tex Williams. I used to play bass.
Right.
And Alvin Albino, the TV5. So I had a good background. So like that took me through, you know. So those are all
Right,
my
right,
influences.
right. So you moved to Toronto the next year,
Yeah, I
right?
played at the Penthouse for a straight year while my papers were being processed to come to school up in Toronto. And then the Saturday would have been last night, and Sunday, the 10th of July, a couple of days ago, 54 years.
Okay. Okay. All right. Comment allez-vous, Frenchman?
Mais oui. Well, my three kids are totally fluent in French, yeah?
Okay.
My daughter used to tell me,
Lovely.
Dad, you know a lot of French, but you don't speak it.
So when you went to Toronto, where do you went to school? You went back in the school system?
Well, boy, like back then, I thought when I left high school, my mom didn't know, but I threw my books up in the air and said, "That's it with me and school, never again."
Oh,
You
shucks.
must know that. I made a mistake when I threw my books and said, I ain't going in our next school again. I'm still in school.
You're still in school. So
Yeah.
how your career started in Toronto then?
So in Toronto, I came up. My brother was a student at U of T, so we got to spend a couple of weeks with him until we got on our own. Those were the opening months of Toronto to bring immigrants from Trinidad and other parts of the Caribbean. Before that, you had to come and study, and when your time up, leave, marry a snow or something, you know? Unless you got married.
Yeah. I
So,
hear.
yeah. So like
Yeah.
we came when you could stay. So I didn't have to go to school. Now 4 days, I came and I'm staying at Varsity Stadium near to that in the university residence.
Right.
And I'd go and I'd look and see the subway. I walked to Yonge Street, then I walked down Yonge Street. And one day, like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe a Wednesday or Tuesday, I came on a Sunday, so it might have been Wednesday or Thursday. I'm walking down Yonge Street on the east side of where the Eaton Center is, but the Eaton Center was not there, was old building and thing down the line, you know? I was walking and I tell myself, I hear Pan. I tell myself that. And I stop right there in my tracks. I said, the breeze have to blow again. Because you know, back in the day when the breeze blew in the night, they say the Pan music when they practicing, you know?
Right.
I stand up there. I say, I must get that wave again. Bam, I hear it again. I back up about 2, 3 doors. I pull the door. It opened. It wasn't a store. It was in between 2 stores. And this would lead to a set of stairs. I'm frightened to go up, eh? So I go up 1 set of stairs. I hear it still further up. I go up the 2nd set of stairs. I'm on the 3rd floor now. I'm frightened to open the door, eh? But I open the door. It have a club there named Little Trinidad Club. I didn't look for the sign. And there was Joe Brown, Phil Pallion, Clive Rustin,
Right.
and Terry there. And they were
Terry. Indian Terry.
Yeah, Terry just went up to heaven a couple of months ago.
Yes, he just died, passed on. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, so he was there, and they were the only 3 or 4 guys playing Pan in Toronto back then. So they're practicing, you know. I ain't saying nothing. I walk on the side, I see a pair of double guitar with 2 sticks on it, and I could play anything them could play. Yeah, I played 9 till 3 in the morning for a year. I come out there. So I go behind and quietly, I just playing until the song stopped. Nobody say anything. Joe Brown call the next song. They're going down so and so. They say, who else play with? I said, boy, I know it. They say, we'll be playing here tomorrow night and Saturday. We'd like you to come. I ain't stop playing till then.
I hear you.
Up to now.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear that.
So, you see, but I start on the great man, Clyde Bradley.
Yeah.
Joe Brown, you know. Joe Brown kind of put the life in Despers, eh?
Yes.
And Charlie's Roots.
All right.
Fella will tell you that.
That's just the 2 of us, man.
Yeah. And Ralph McDonald.
Ralph McDonald.
He was the influence there.
Yeah.
And Lovely Day, what's his name again?
I think he just passed on too.
Yeah.
Of course, he Lovely Day, man. Bill Withers.
Bill Withers, yeah. Joe was very
Yeah.
influential to all of them. Joe's still
Yeah.
around. I spoke to him a month or
Yeah.
two ago.
Yes. I met him in Toronto when I was back there in the 90s. He came to visit me and thing, and I always listen to his advice. It's
Yeah,
lived with me
he's honest.
since then to now.
Yeah, he's
I have
honest
it
and he
in. I
knows the
have. Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
You know he was the arranger
Yeah.
for Sputnik Star's home, eh?
I hear that name is Sputnik. Who
From
called that
Henry
name?
Street, Henry and Queen back in the day.
I think I hear Senior talking about that band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in the
Sputnik.
days when they had song like Calypso Twist, Sparrow had a song like Bim Bim Bum Bim 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 Bum Bim Calypso Twist or something. Joe Brown, yeah.
Right. Joe Brown, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trade winds, and I end up meeting Rustkin. I work with Terry. Imagine that I came and meet Terry and gig out with Terry. You know, he's very good guitarist. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was nice, man. You call some man named there that I had an opportunity to meet all of them.
Yeah, but I tell you, I ain't turn it around yet, but this interview is about you too, you know. Yeah, Terry was in Cayman.
Yes, that is how Senior get on there. Is them fellas he get on there with, you know? Yeah, man. Musicians.
I was with your dad on one of the early trips down there.
Okay.
Yeah, when we played for Pirates Week.
Nice. Yeah, try. That's still going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Real amazing.
And then that Pirates Week grew until they used to bring Byron Lane and Exodus in and all of that, eh?
Yes. That is the fed period.
Yeah.
You know?
When we were there, your dad and I was there in the early days of that, when they started Pirates Week.
Yeah, party finishing 11 o'clock Saturday night.
Time when we only going for about a half hour.
Yes.
You want talk? You want talk?
Yeah, so we moving on. So how we get in the school system? You in the school system? How will that really materialize?
Before I answer that, you want me to fill a little gap because this is a wonderful interview, Noel.
All right, thank you. Yeah, run the show, run it, man. Talk, man.
Just before I go into that, I'm playing music all over. And back in those days, when you get a gig in one of the places in Ontario, you have to have an agent. So I had an agent. I had 2-3 agents. And they'd send you to North Bay and you spend a week there. Pan, I had a guy playing, I played pan and bass. I had a guy playing guitar, a guy playing drums. Sometimes you could use 3 or 4. So we'd go out in Ontario and we play for 6 nights, from 9 till 1 every night. And we lived upstairs and they gave us 2 or 3 rooms and meals and stuff. And the money was good. So we bought a van and we bought a B3 organ and stuff. And we started a band and we touring all over, going on the road. And I got tired of that. So I left the band. And after I left the band, Monday morning, I wake up. And for the first time in Canada now, a couple of years, I had no job. I left my band. Band was doing good. But the reason is I saw somebody who I thought I'd like to get married to. So I said, I need a serious job. Open the papers, looking for a job the Monday, and I see they need policemen. Noel, I went down.
Oh, shucks.
I tell myself, well, this is going to be a different beat. I spent 4 years doing that as a Metro police officer. I used to walk around this town with a little loaded on the side, you know. But those were the nice days when people respected you, and we were nice. We were called Toronto finest and stuff, you know.
Right.
There were only 8 officers who didn't look white at the time.
You was one?
Yeah. So that was early days, I'm telling you, right? So I spent 4 years with them before I realized not for me, you know? Not for me. It's the first time I go out, I had to go out on a midnight shift, 11 o'clock till 7. And I didn't even think that was a part of the job. You know, you have to work 2 weeks nights, 2 weeks morning, 2 weeks afternoon, and rotate all the time. I didn't even think about that. So, but you can't leave when they train you for 6 months. You can't just leave, so you know, you go look bad. You go look for a job, you know. So I have to put in a little time and sneak out when I get a chance. So when I sneak out now, say, what I go do now, boy? Well, I had enough sense. I said, I'm going to open a business. Me and my partner, King Ricardo, we're going to open a roti shop. Right? The King and I. So he was a limbo dancer, right? I gone to a lawyer to register the business and thing, and the lawyer say, you have time to go in that. Why you don't come and work for me? Because I was an ex-police, eh?
Okay.
You know, he said, why you don't come and work for me? Was a Trinidad lawyer, you know? He turned out to be Charles Roach, the guy who was the first chairman of Caribana.
Okay.
And the Martin Luther King of Canada, even.
Okay.
So I spent 10 years as his assistant and private investigator. All this time, every time he see me, we're busy and stuff, he used to tell me, you see that music you play? That's more important than this job. I could get anybody to do this job. So anytime you get a chance, come and do your music. Then make sure you put off your appointment, you take care of what you have to do. So I used to do music day or night. And I could go in the evening and work on the files. Right. Whatever and stuff. He gave me that Trinidad guy, you know, Charles Rhodes. He was the owner of the Little Trinidad Club too.
Okay.
And while he was in law school, he used to strum a guitar and sing a little song. So I was talking for a long time. I just talk about sing a little song. Do you know I'm a calypsonian too?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
There's a little relief. We're coming back to talk, right?
Yeah,
this
man.
Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Panman Pat. Only on Pan a la carte, players only, you get this variety. We heard about his journey in this music world, the people that he associated with and worked with. I mean, now we're going to be serenaded. Let me hear it, Pat.
Right. So the reason why I'm going to do this for a little musical relief and all this interview is a few weeks ago when this whole pandemic started, you know, it was weird, you know, like your people out the window. I live in a tall building here in Toronto on the lake shore, and you look outside and no cars would be passing, no street cars, nobody in the road. And I said, whoa, what are we going to do? So I started to build my studio. I said I got to start to perform from home because I don't know where this was going. And I got this idea about lockdown. And here what happened. La da 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 do, la da 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 do da, bam 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 bam. Bam la bam be la do, la da 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. Tell me what is going on. Living in a ghost town, everybody locked down. My partner stop coming around. Nobody down, everybody locked down. Right now, my kitchen in a state. All the things I ate have me overweight. The girlfriend stopped coming around. She's singing a sad song. She tell me lockdown. Hey, hey, lava, 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 bella, do.
Lockdown. Lockdown.
Right now. Like that way, down, bam, bam, boom. Pull me, call me, pull me one. all by my lonesome, everybody locked down. Yes,
Yeah, man.
Guitar could I use some more tuning, but
Everybody locked down.
my girlfriend say me locked down.
Yeah, locked down, boy. Not locked, boy.
Nobody
You
coming
know?
around.
You understand? The whole tongue locked down.
Yeah. So where we?
Yes, we was talking and you was talking about you end of your police career, right? And ting, and Mr. Roach.
Right. So
Who
while I'm still with Mr. Roach in the office there, sometimes Dick Smith from Dick Smith and Sincona, this is a white Jamaican guy, but he was a Belafonte kind of a guy. Eh? He did it all. It was funny being around Dick Smith because if you look at him, you're looking at a white man. But he was born in the mountain, Mocha Mountain, Jamaica. He spoke like a Jamaican and he thought like a black person. His whole culture and his whole persona was black, but he looked white. He's still around. He's very old. Remember the Lion King?
Yeah.
That famous show. That ran in Toronto where it started for 3.5 years. 8 shows every week. And Dick was in charge of the music.
Wow.
Big thing, Lion King, yeah. So like, I would get little gigs with Dick and some would be in schools to do he'd do a little workshop with them with the conga drums. And I'll bring my 2 pan and I'll do a little demonstration on the pan. And I didn't know the school did this with 2 or 3 of the pan people around at the time. I think Lincoln might have been one, Lincoln Fats Waldron. I think Wayne Griffith might have been one, and Jerry Jerome. But I get picked because the lady who did the interview, the first thing Dick told me that they thought we were snobbish. Like we weren't interested in teaching it to them. We just want to play, pay and go. I said, but that ain't true. You know, anyways, they called me to do a thing and they asked me if I would start a little program twice a week at a school in a poor area in Toronto. And I said, but I have a job already, you know, like, and they kept asking me and stuff, and if only I could start this program. I said, where will we get the instruments from? They said they already sourced it, and I didn't know they met Earl Wong.
Yeah.
And Earl had a set of pans for them, like a set of bass, or maybe 2 6 bass, a triple cello, 2 guitar, double guitars, triple guitars, 2 seconds, and about 4 tenors. And they have them pack up in a room in the school, you know. So they asked me if I'd start it. I say, here what? In those days, you could drive from one end of Toronto to the other. They didn't have many cars, and you get there in no time. Now it take you half hour to get on the road, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I say I'll come in my lunchtime twice a week. Tuesday and Thursday, lunchtime. They said, okay, we swing that. And I started going to Elmbank Middle School. And that's a good school to mention because Al Foster was in that class.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a little
That
boy.
was a new school. Yes, he talked about this new school that started up. That was the school. Panman was the teacher. Panman Pat was the teacher, right?
Bank, right. So I would go there twice a week in the lunchtime and do it. And the band started, again, the little kids playing a little something, you know. When the school have a little something, we put the kids in the auditorium and they play a little jam and stuff. I have them in good shape, grade 7 and grade 8. So they're under, they're around, 14? No, that's high school. They're around 11, 12, 10, 11, 12. So I'm doing good. So after about 3 months, because I have a job, and I tell them I'll come and do it twice on my lunchtime. So, and I'd find some work to do close by and I'll go to that. About 3 months later, a lady come and she with a writing pad and she teach me, see me in the little class teaching them and jamming and stuff. Bam, the bell ring and the kids go on. And she said, how long you doing this? I said, about 3 or 4 months. And she said, who's paying you? I said, pay? You get paid for that?
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, because I was helping, I thought I helping them out with a little thing, you know. Me thinking big, I had a job. So she said, I said, get paid. She said, I want you to write down all the times you've been here. And I work with the lawyer, so he's have a diary.
Yeah.
I know only Tuesday until I tell her I write it. It's so much money I get 3 months.
Wow.
So then little time passed. Then a fella come and watch me teach and thing. You hear the kids jamming and thing. When they leave, he come to me and say, if you were a teacher, I would hire you today. He turned out to be the director of education.
Oh my gosh.
I said, ooh. So the next couple of days in my free time, I go down by the board of education. I said, sir, I call the university and I could get in, but they say I need a letter. So we call the secretary one time and they write a letter, and on the 1st of April 1984, I think it was, I drove up to Kingston, the Queen's University. They take me in just like that. He said I'm an expert. He said, qualify this man in the least possible time. So they cut out all the frill thing that you have to do and teach you what you need to know, to deal with children. And you have to do the music exam.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-year course, but they allow me to come back to teach, and they'll send a professor twice a month to give you work and take your work. All of that, So I tell you, like, I was being prepared with the missionaries, then Clive Bradley for the music training and the
But it's amazing you understand your pathway, you understand your journey, you understand it, you paid attention. Yes, yeah, you get to connect the dots. Some people don't, but it's very important.
You want to know when I connected the dots? When I could see least, I saw the most.
I heard that story. I heard that story from others who see the least.
Yeah, you could make a comment about that.
Yeah. We commented that. But so how long you stayed in Toronto before? Because you moved back to Trinidad for some time, eh?
Oh yeah, well while I'm there, I came out of university, so now they take me out of the middle school with Al and them, and they put me in what you call in a high school, because I qualify like any teacher now, man.
Right.
So like I didn't appreciate it, but the main thing is I say them kids they know much and they're not discriminatory like big people. So I said dress to look like a teacher. As far as them, I had the qualification, I get it after. But by then, Al Foster was in the high school. Now, can I tell you a little story about Al Foster?
Yeah, man.
For 2 years when I was in the elementary school and the school bought the pants before I started. They had it in a room. How they bought it, they did car wash, grade 7 and grade 6. Every Saturday, principal make these kids in Rexdale, a kind of poor area at the time, in government housing and stuff. In Toronto, Jane Finch area.
Jane Finch, yeah.
Yeah, so he had them do this. And just before we started, the week before I came, something happened in the playground and I'll get fingered. And I will tell you, he didn't do it. It wasn't him. And the principal told him, you will not be in that steel band program. So Al was not in the program, all he was in the class. He had to go and sit down in an office by himself. And every time, I didn't know him, but there used to be this little dark face come, and they had a little window in the door in the schools, a little window you could like that. They could peep and see. I don't know who it was, but this little fella used to take a washroom break and maybe stay in the hallway and hear it. Bang, when you reach in high school, you choose what courses you want. Well, Al wouldn't leave my classroom. I said to push him out the class, because you'll be late for your next class. He wouldn't be, and he caught up with all the kids that were playing for 2 years and passed them. He had questions. Oh boy. And I started getting honest, real answers, Al turned out to be the leader and arranger of a band. They won the last 8 panoramas in Toronto in a row. That Al Foster. And he's of Jamaican heritage.
Yes.
So
yes, I'm amazed by Al. Because I know when he was in high school and stuff. Amazed by her.
You know, I brought
Yeah,
him to
man.
Trinidad twice while he was in high school.
Uh-huh.
I used to
Oh.
take the class out on Saturdays and fundraise, and I bought tickets for 16 kids. I brought them twice. I used to do an exchange with Success Laventille.
Okay.
They'd come up here and we'd host them, and they stay with my kids, everybody with one. Ben and all those people.
Yeah.
And so on. And then I'll go down and my kids would spend some time with their kids.
Right.
And on Carnival Friday, you know, I have 16 Canadian kids who I know nothing. You think I could take them for Carnival? So I used to arrange with the parent teachers down there that each parent take one of my students for Carnival weekend. I get them back Ash Wednesday. And I know them in the best hands because them in East River.
Right.
You know, them know the way. I used to be part of that. I used to leave up here and go and play with Despers when he left. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So after that and stuff, so what caused you to move back to Trinidad? When you moved back?
Oh, yeah, but I was so saturated now with, I had this band where they was getting standing ovation when La Petite had their concert, and wherever they go, I used to make sure they dress nice and thing, you know, and stuff. And I was saturated. I was going to explode with, like, I worked so hard and stuff. I needed a rest or a change. And my kids were around 16 or so, and they say, one day we were talking, they said, Dad, you always talking about Trinidad. Why don't you go now? Or we could come and visit you. Boy, I put in an application to get a year off from teaching, what they call a sabbatical. Yeah? You did?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what the sabbatical mean? It took me years to understand. Although I bright, I'm a little slow, you know. You know, like you have this Sabbath in the week when you take a rest. Sabbatical. So when you take a long, like a year. So I came down to Trinidad, and when I reached there again, for the third time in my life, I said, why go do? I have no job. I mean, I have a little funds and thing I could live with. So, but I always look for a little action. So start to visit the pan yard. I my pans, I set it up, I get a little amplifier, buy a little one. And you know, I always have tracks, I start to get gigs at the Prime Minister's house, at the so-and-so for ambassadors and things. I'll tell you one thing, Noel, and I want to say this to the young people looking. When you're going to play a gig, like I'm here, right, in my living room studio, but if you're fans, you've got to respect yourself and look the part. You know, you can't say I did a small gig or just do my jeans and t-shirt and look like anybody. They'll treat you like anybody. So when I'm playing, I sometimes get better jobs because somebody passing and say, you look good. The Mexican ambassador put me in the living room to play. You know, next one, so-and-so in the little something to play. American ambassador, you know. When I go in there for old kite, I have a kind of thing, if you only back up, it chuck up all your tires, you know. You know that? All them plays I get to play. So, anyways, I get a, one day, I went to a Calypso tent, and I met a fella, Bill Trotman told me they're looking for somebody. He was on the board of Carte, copyright. He said they're looking for somebody, and he put me in touch with Alvin Daniel, and Alvin was impressed with my CV, as you call it. And he told me he'd hire me to be a licensing officer. He said, you working in music all your life. So he hired me to go in Carte to work. I spent a year as a licensing officer in Carte in those days. And I learned a lot and I did a lot. So while there, the Canadian school wanted to start a PAN program in Trinidad. And they've been trying to get somebody in the music department in Ontario say, you guys lucky. There's a guy down there who knows what to do, and he's a teacher. But the number they gave, that lady who was upstairs, I didn't have a phone then in the early time. It was 1994, so the phone call will come upstairs. You know it is there, and you have to run upstairs and take it. She went by for 3 weeks. So they couldn't get me at all, nobody to answer the phone. So they had a parent-teachers meeting, and my niece was interested in taking her daughter to go to that school in a year or so. And they said, you know, we've been trying to start the PAN program. We have some instruments and stuff, but we can't find a teacher. No teacher. We've been trying to get a Canadian guy who's down here, but they can't find him. So my niece put her hand up and said, well, who is that? And they said, some guy named Pat McNeilly, but we just can't. She said, I could bring him here tomorrow. Now she called me and I was there the next day, and I spent a long time teaching there, and I also enjoy teaching there with you. Yeah, people don't know that. Teaching the Canadian school, getting credits, and used to run that program as well. After I left, you were there holding it on, and then
yes.
UV and thing.
Yeah, that was a special era. Trinidad and Tobago don't know much about it.
And we had those kids playing real music. I don't think there's...
We had the #1 PAN program in Trinidad and Tobago, a whole classroom of instruments, sets. Air conditioned. Sets of instruments. 4 sets of bass, like a big conventional band. We had that. We had a serious program. Thanks to you.
Yeah, and people, they get high school credits. I don't think they get that in the local schools.
No. Yes, they had credits. They also get credits. That was a credited program.
Yeah,
right? The local school do have, Yeah,
and
local schools do have nothing, so.
I used to look
forward. Yeah.
I used to look forward to teaching with you, and you were a good influence, you know. So I always had nice people around me who could help me, you know, in the journey, you know. You were one.
But you helped me in that program too. That whole program, all the teachers, Miss Gail, and them, Mr. Noel, you know, when they sit down and they chat and they had conversations, it's not all about music, and it's about an understanding of dealing with the kids, you know, young teenagers.
I'm still in touch on Facebook with 2 or 3 of the principals, Miss Harkness.
Oh, she's around?
Oh, yes. She just got married last year again. Second time.
Okay. All right. I heard Mr. Ticker.
Tinker. Mr. Tinker. 2 summers ago, some teachers came up and they met us here, and we drove about 3 hours to where he lived, and he had Carib, and we took doubles.
Oh, shucks.
You know, Canadians love the Carib, eh?
Yes, love the Carib. Yeah, man, that was a lovely experience, that program. Right? I know it had somebody there with a program running there, but I don't know much about it. But the school is still pumping. Right?
Yeah, couple local guys. Oh yeah, the school is doing good. I always think of it, but no, it's not a good time for me.
Some of those kids, it's a pleasure when you bounce up some of those kids. But, you know, they are big women and men. It's like
the kids that we were teaching.
Yeah. You know,
a lot of those are leaders in Trinidad now, I'm sure.
Yes. Who is not pilot? Is construction engineer. This, you know, we boy have a coconut. He have a distillery coconut. This coconut, he's an Mr. The young youth who always in front doing everything. You know who it is. Adam. Yeah. Yeah, man. He's doing good. Those are good kids, man. They don't pass me. Mr. La Pierre. Sir. Still today.
Yeah.
You know? All right, so coming back to you, man. It's coming back to you. So that was a beautiful experience. So how much years your last dog in Trinidad?
When I came back, took a year sabbatical, and at the end of that year, I called the principal and I said, I want to extend it for a 2nd year. She said, no problem. Bang. I called her back. I said, I want to extend it for a 3rd year. She said, you crazy? She said, I can't sign to that because they have a premier. It was Premier Ford, I think he was, or something. Not Ford now, that's now. Back then, I forget his name. But they had a premier who was hard on teachers then on the education system. So they told me I couldn't, so I quit the job in Toronto and I stayed in Trinidad. And the government appointed me as a state board to help start the National Steel Orchestra.
Right.
Along with Dr. Batson and Teddy Belgrave, the late Teddy Belgrave.
Yeah.
Renison Kwashi from Tobago. And we hired 30 fellas, and they became like, how you call them, state workers. I forget how you call that.
Public servants.
Public servants, that's it. They became public servants, so they get lifetime jobs. Eh? These guys were selected from the top bands in Trinidad. They were the motivators. And we used to have,
do you know?
Huh?
I'm gonna say this publicly here. With that national band, I was the #1 selective player. All right.
And something
#1. I did the interview. I was even the one come out with the highest score in the interview. #1. Right.
Yeah.
But when politics play and you're not into the politics, you get shaft. Right. But all that public service talk came out of my mouth because in the interview, right, they made me came home. I was to get a flight from New York to come home for the interview, right? And I told them, I said, well, if I had to be on the National Steel Band, I'm a public servant. So I have to be insured. I have to have pension. I have to have insurance, right? It's, all these things came out of my mouth. And I sit back and I watch how everything is, how it just manifests itself. And I let it run, right? Because at that time, not every Trinidad and Tobago wasn't ready, professionally ready, or understand professionalism to incorporate in steel band, right?
Yeah,
I was already in that, right? I was already doing that. I had already had 4 or 5 years out in Bermuda, already worked with cruise and strip directly. So already went Japan, already do a lot of things, right?
I remember you did a gig in Africa and you had to play about 30 national anthems.
Yes. Most anthems.
Mauritius or something, or Seychelles? So.
Yeah. No, it was no. Seychelles was another one. This one was in Saint Martin and Aruba. 18 anthems, 18 and 19. 2 years later, I break it. I went to 19 and from 18 to 19 anthems.
Every time
those was
Prime Minister
back in the day.
Every time a Prime Minister or somebody come, you have to play that anthem.
Yes.
I remember that.
Correct. Because back in that time in the 90s, they had no professionalism standards players out here. They didn't have that. So I watch that too. The amount of players we have now, right? I still look at that. That means I was doing something good all the damn time to encourage others or inspire others, right?
In the early days, you, Professor, myself were like the only 3 soldiers going out on our own and doing our own thing.
Correct.
Huh?
Correct.
Name anybody else.
Correct. We was the only one man. We was the only one soloist. We was just independently soloists.
Right? Yeah, with cassette tape and all kind of thing.
Yeah, people know about cassette. They know about freaking digital laptop thing, iPad. They know about cassette. You have to have
CD.
Yeah. We went from cassette to mini disc to CD.
This interview is about you and I interviewing you.
Oh,
I just linking you.
Yeah, because 2 of us spend plenty years together. Your whole time is you incorporate me down in Maple Leaf, and we did a lot of things together, right? Yeah. So I can't say nothing negative about you at all because you impacted me tremendously, right? During that period, you was really supportive in many ways. Right, and I'm appreciative of being your friend up in Toronto, right? You know,
yeah.
You had confidence in calling me and we worked together. We did a lot of shows together, performances.
Remember that time it's snowing about a foot of snow, and I see Noel coming through the snow. It's bad in the hand. We had to
that was a long walk, man, Pat, man. That walk. I had to walk across highways and walk up a hill. The hill was like forever to reach to this church down in Hamilton.
When I see snow, I say, well, you ain't coming again.
Boy, the train line, something happened there on the train line, and I get on there just late, so the pickup couldn't pick me up, and I see in the church up on the hill there, the bus ain't going up there now. The bus dropped me off. I have to walk a good 5 miles before I get to that church, and uphill and all kind of thing. Cool.
Yeah.
The things we do as professional musicians to get the job done is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? When I hear some guys talk now, boy, me ain't gonna do that, boy, but you real soft, boy. If it wasn't for sacrifice like that, right? People want to be calling for you to come and do nothing now. It's sacrifice the ones before you made.
Yeah.
The effort. Right? Because we wasn't recognized as professional musician. We was Panman.
I know a partner up here that's won gigs and thing, and fella know two tune he make up. And for about 5 years, anytime I call him, 2 tune he playing. Two.
Wow.
I hear Mark say he practice every day for 12 hours to learn something at a time on your program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just ask myself, I don't think Panman put the most amount of hours to master the craft, you know. Right? Because me want to boy saying
if you respect yourself and you want to be a panist, you can't just do it by knowing to play 2 panorama tune.
No.
You have to be able to play any song that the occasion. You know how many gigs I get from other pan players? They take gigs and then a couple of days before the people say, we like you to play these songs, and they call out, they give you a list. And then they see them songs, they call me and say you could play songs.
That is number one.
That was number one. Yeah, I know 4 of them. I get the gig.
You have to learn to read. You have to learn to read because you're going out there with a jazz standard book. You must have your standards. You must have a standard book. So when you're going out, a man calling tunes, you're in the game, you could follow, you understand the chords, you could build chords, you could form chords, right? And most of them things self-taught for me, right? With the early stage of Mud Albino Dakota and the program up in UE. With Leon, was Leon Smooth and Macintosh. That UE program was going on there. I was a lab rat for that program up in UE. I was one, right? It had 18 of us. I was one.
Dr. Ann Osborne.
Yeah, now Dr. Osborne didn't come here. It was Miss Macintosh, Louis Macintosh.
Okay.
I was in 87 and 88 and 9, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, so we was the lab rat for the program that they have going on there now. We was the first sight readers for Panman.
Nice.
Stuff, you know, so I was back here. That gave me foundation so I could have gone stand up and play with any band in San Antonio, California, anyway.
And you've got
anybody.
some of those.
Yeah.
You know, I was involved with a program while I was there with Eddie Wade, Major Wade.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his students was Panjumbi. Our Panjumbi.
Panjumbi talk about our program. He talk about our program, yes. He talk about our program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was involved in that when I was down there in around 95 or so. I used to go with Major Wade and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And all these opportunities, sometimes the opportunities are there, and the young panists, if there were 25 people registered in that program, he used to come from Tobago, but he'd stay down near the highway there by his brother, who used to tune pan.
Yes.
What was his nickname?
Who his brother?
Yeah. He used to tune pan like a pipe. Huh?
I know his brother too well.
Oh, he was a pan tuner back then. But anyways, he would come. And when I go, I hear the program, so I'm interested, you know, I leave teaching and thing in Toronto, I down there. When I go out to 25, it have 5. So I say, where the others? He say, boy, there's got stipend to come here, and sometimes they don't come. So I used to spend the first hour or 2 on the phone, calling them and encourage them to come until the place full. So then I found out that some of them couldn't get a babysitter, they didn't have passage or whatever, you know. So then we made a connection with the ministry for one girl and thing. And when she got through, the next week, everybody wanted to interview. But they kept coming and they were successful, you know. A lot of those. So I'm glad. You see, I'm showing you the book. Nice. You can see it?
All right. Yes.
I know you can't recognize that guy, but your dad will tell you it's me. Yeah.
My dad will tell me, it's who? Is he?
It's me.
So talk about the book now. So talk about the book now. This is your book here, Pat. So what's the name of the book?
It's a musical journey, and it documents in pictures what I've been doing for 50-something years with Pan.
All right.
In
So
order to
is it
make it
online?
Hmm?
So we could get purchased. You could order it. What?
Oh yeah, through a store in Toronto called A Different Booklist. And when you put all the books there, the booklist looks different to what you do in another store. It's a hint, right? A different booklist. It's a cultural bookstore. I also have this one which sold a lot because it's steel pan music, and this documents the history and the theory and so on and stuff. A different book list. They're my bookstore. When I say mine, where I go and hang out and stuff. And they're online too. They have a program online. A different book list. Yeah. So we've been talking about a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Much
man.
about you and some about me.
So you had an incident there with your vision. Tell us about how that period was for you. How stressful or how it was mentally.
Well, I'm glad you say stressful. In the early days, Afropan had a song written by Senior called Stress. You don't know that?
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. When the world became aware of what stress was, what stress can do to you, I remember Earl Senior. He wrote a song for the band called Stress, and I thought, wow. But it was a word that we need to get used to. So while I was in Trinidad, my mom, I told you I'd keep referring to her as a main interest. She had a fall, and she sent a message and asked me to come up. So I left Maple Leaf International School as quickly as I can, and I came up, and she said, go and finish the year and come back. But I got rid of everything down there, car, everything, and I came to Toronto. I came back. And about a year or so later, I got a job teaching and stuff, and playing music again, started to get known again. And about a year later, she decided to leave us and move along to heaven. So the stress of that and some family things, within months after that, I started to go blind. I had essays to correct in school. I was teaching English as a second language up here at the time, and music, and geography, and computers. And I had these essays to correct, and every time I look at 2 lines, like up to now, I still push it aside. And marks due in a couple of days, and I had it 2 weeks, and I can't get my marks in. And I asked the teacher over lunch, could you mark this for me? And over lunch, she did it all.
Wow.
It was wrong. So I decided I needed glasses. The first time I'm going to get glasses. When I went to the Hakims, that's like our Vision Plus or whatever you have. When I went there, the lady touched my eyes and she felt my forehead and stuff and say, okay. There's more to talk to you when they have bad news, Is everything okay and stuff? Yeah. She said, I have never seen such elevated optical pressure. Like the pressure in my eyes was so high, it was almost blocking me from being able to see. She said, so how you came here? I said, regular I drive. She said, where you park? I said, downstairs. She said, well, leave your car there. She typed a letter and sent me to emergency. She said, I never seen somebody eye pressure so high. I gone to emergency. Wow. They put me on a chair there, and about 5 people in white coat around me, and they put things in my eye, and they're looking up and they say, how you come here? Well, I lied. All the lady tell me, don't drive. My wife was with me, so I drove to the hospital. There's one road, and I followed the streetcar tracks. I didn't know I had a problem, but now I know it. I drive my car and I park it there, and I go on in. He said, so how you got here? I said, I drove. He said, where you park? I said, the parking place. He said, give me the keys.
Oh, shucks.
Give me the keys. He said, and you want to check your driver's license. He said, you might be blind in 6 months.
Wow.
It's surprised you drive to come here. You could have killed somebody and not be responsible. So he said, could you come back tomorrow? I say, yeah. He saw me every day for 3.5 months. Every day I have to go 7 o'clock in the morning. This man would look into my eye. And over the 8 or 9 years now, I've had 4 surgeries where they go on there, cut a little something and they cut a little something. Glaucoma is a what you call a plumbing in the body thing, you know, where the aqueous fluid flows down, it goes in that chamber. It goes in, but when you have glaucoma, it does not come out in time. So then the lobe starts to swell and it starts to crush your optic nerve. 90% of my optic nerve has been crushed when he saw me.
Wow.
So I only had 10. He can't afford to lose a nerve. What I operated on a tender. He went in there 4 times over, let's say 5-6 years. The last one was 18 months ago. There were times when, like, I'm going to do shows, like on Harbourfront and thing. It's on YouTube, on the MC. I just Sadu. She'll announce Panman back, and she had to come in the back and walk me onto the mic. Me, I have a cane since then, you know. But I tell people to sum it up. You won't believe this. To sum it up, I've had 4 surgeries, 2 interventions after that, and a miracle. Because you know how much I could see quite a bit now. Right? Some days better than some. But I have to be careful. I can still fall. You know, so I have a cane where in unfamiliar places I use my cane. But I never give up. Like, you know, like that wasn't going to stop me. So the angels and them must say, beg God or whatever. And they say, you know, give this man some sight. You know, they're holding him back. So they give me some. And I like to boast about it because God like it to boast about it. He just get jealous when you don't boast.
I hear that.
Yeah. So I am comfortable how I am, but I'm legally blind. And you want to see my cane?
Oh man, just don't go and trip on nothing there in the studio.
No, I live here, so I know where everything is. You know, like this I don't have a front stage, but I have one of these Professor Kane, you know, and you sit out just like a magic one.
Right.
Sometimes I'll be going somewhere and I'd fold it up like this, you know, and people have actually said, new pan sticks.
Oh shucks. New pan sticks. Oh my gosh.
But so that's a bit of adversity that was caused by stress, I think. And it's pressure, like some people get body pressure. My pressure went up there in the eyes.
Yeah, man. But thank God you have vision still and you're here with us still.
Every
right?
day. You know,
yeah, because I see with pan round the neck, I see you have pan round the neck, you're going somewhere and playing the other day, you have pan round the neck strolling, you was at Jane and Finch. I see all about the place.
That was for York University.
Seeing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you know, I know you don't want to say it, but you know I'm 57 now, eh?
Oh man, that's good, man. You're doing good.
You have to turn it around.
I hear you. But yeah, what's going on now? What advice you have for the young people? Because we had to come to the end of this program, like we had to have a part 2 on this talk, boy, because I still feel we miss out plenty, you know.
Yeah,
anyways.
And next time we might play a little bit. My advice to young pan players is going to the pan yard and learning to play. Learn as much as you can about the instruments. You're so lucky now that most of you are learning in school, although they don't teach you everything. But I remember going to big bands like Desperados in New York, and I tried to figure out what key they're playing that song in. I want to go and try that when I go home. I go to one of the second men. What note is that? You turn to your partner. What note is that? Who noticed that? Just to find out a note, I feeling bad. But them could play the whole song. So like you really want as a young pan player to try and learn as much. Music is really simple to learn. So just don't learn the tune. And if you learn a little bit about music and a little bit more, you'll find that you could do a whole lot more. Like, you know, Noel, Like stuff. You know, at one point, Noel, I went off camera a little bit. In order to help young panists, there's a thing in music called a fake book. Before we had YouTube and the Library of Congress and so on, when somebody made up a tune and they write it and they send it for copyright in the Library of Congress in Washington States, they put it there on file. And if you copy their music, you have to pay copyright, right? But some guys who knew music well in the 60s would write 50, 60 melodies of famous songs, all the famous songs. And they put it together in a book, but they couldn't sell the book, so they call it a fake book. It's not a real book, you know what I'm saying? So you can't charge me for making a book. This is a fake book. So I started to make a fake book for Pan. So I have quite a lot of songs, and it's just little one page little lead sheets, as you call them, you know? All of that writing, boy, like here. So, you know, one page you learn it. So young people have to do that, you know, like find as many songs as you can and be able to learn it. If you want to arrange a panorama song, you should really know hip-hop music. You should know cha-cha-cha music. You should know classical music, so you could incorporate all of those styles into your arrangement, like Bootsy Sharp does. Or Bootsy Sharp creates a lot of his, but like Jit Samaru did, or Clyde Bradley did because of the musical background. You also want to look like a musician. You don't have to dress like me or anybody, find your own standard. But when you look at it, you're going to work. Even the security guard dress a certain way. Even the chef in the back of the hotel dress a certain way. So you, the young pan player, find out what works for you and dress a certain way. Those are most of the, you have lots of opportunities in Trinidad. You have that school near the big tree in Laventille there, where you can learn how to document music and put it on a computer and all of that. Learn that too. So that's what I have to say.
All right. So here now, you have a song for me. Right? You have a song for me. So where you going to give me there?
When you do a little summary, and I'll see if I could get the track to work for the song I was trying to do.
All right. So people, this has been a beautiful discussion here with Panman Pat. You on Pan a la carte, players only special. Yes, I'm Noel La Pierre. We do it nice. We hear all about his journey. All right, working with the Maple Leaf Institute down in Trinidad, working with the Toronto Board of Education. We hear about that. We also heard about Joe Brown. We heard about Mark Rustins, Terry. We heard about all those guys. Alright? So as you stick around, you know, it's amazing that we all have this special passion to promote the instrument. Alright? And plenty of us always know something or yes, I find this, I find that. But we hear indirectly from individuals' mouth, right, that is more and more besides the pistol for this art form. A lot of work has been going in. A lot of people has been doing things for a lot of years. Right? A lot of us has worked with each other on different situations, right, just for the instrument. So let me listen to Panman Pat in the background. You know, I enjoy some Pan.
you ready for the face? Is you ready for the face? Is you ready for the face? I think there's a tempo like we do. Is you ready for the face? Is you ready for the face? When the music starts to play, we go my cross every day. And the music starts to play, say what you want. Ay, 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 in a feeling. Ay, 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 in a feeling. Lady walk a mile and a half in a feeling. Lady walk a mile and a half in a feeling.
Ay, ay, ay.
We go myself every day, and the music starts to play. Say what you want, when the music starts to play. We go myself every day, and the music starts to play. Sing with me, what you want, hey you, how you want? You want more sweet, and you, how you want? You want
I want more sweet pan. Ba da 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 da.
I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank all the young listeners, and I hope you too, each and every one of you, have a great career.